What's up, wrestling fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast of the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network, here with a look at the Jazwares AEW Unrivaled collection figure of Nyla Rose. Let's have a look at this figure while it is still mint in packaging. Here's her name in the gold foil lettering. I appreciate that. This is Series 7, number 58. Here's a nice studio shot of Nyla Rose, and she has the AEW Women's title over her shoulder. Here are the other figures available in this wave. And here is the replica autograph of Nyla Rose, as well as an action shot from the February 12th, 2020 Dynamite. But I think it's time to go ahead and bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. So here's the figure free of the outer carding, but still in the inner plastic. I should note that there's a lot of plastic wrapped around the torso, and I'm guessing that is to not only prevent damage to this sash, but also to prevent staining maybe from the sash to the rest of the figure. And here she is, out of the package and ready to rumble, the dominant Nyla Rose. If you're a fan of Nyla Rose, you should be just very happy to get this figure. There is so much to like about it. This is just really cool. And let's take a closer look at the details now. So let's have a look at the accessories here. First of all, you get this sash, and this is underneath her hair. It was very easy for me to get off. It looks like you can actually unravel it if you want to. I'm not going to do that. But again, this just kind of wraps around her neck underneath her hair. And again, this is cloth, obviously, that you can see. And I don't remember any of the other figures that I've had to date that have had any kind of cloth attire. So I wasn't expecting this, and that certainly looks good. Really like the coloring there. Here is the AEW Women's title. I think there's supposed to be more paint on the AEW lettering than it actually looks like there is. I don't know if the coating just didn't quite make it to the belt or if it faded a little bit. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, the belt still looks really good. You can see these individual plates, and yeah, it's in really good shape. I like this belt overall, even with the kind of questionable paint on the center plate. But yeah, this is a really good job by Jazwares on the AEW Women's title. So let's have a look at the lower body here. There's a lot to like in terms of sculpting and paint application. However, there are some limitations in articulation. First of all, as you can see here, this figure is very sturdy. I always appreciate a figure that stands well. I certainly like these boots here. I like these little tassels that have been molded into the tops, and the fact that you can see the molding of the top of the boot. It actually looks like a leg going into a boot. I appreciate that. All the wrinkles here. Good articulation on the ankles. That's good. I like the paint application on the knees here, although unlike a lot of the other figures, this knee pad is not a separate piece. So you see there's double jointed knees, but it's not a separate piece. So that's not as nice as I've seen with some of the other figures, but it's still not a huge detriment. Certainly like that. Like I said, from the front, I like this black and gold together. Now, you do get this upper thigh swivel here, and so that's good in terms of articulation. However, this skirt here, although it is very cool to look at as far as the paint applications and the sculpting. I mean, I do like this attire on Nyla, but you can't get her to kick forward because this is a very stiff piece of plastic here, and it just won't go forward. And likewise, it only goes back so much. You really have to move her legs out to get any motion forwards or backwards with them. And there's the back there. I certainly appreciate the paint applications. I mean, it's accurate. That's not a problem at all. But again, because this skirt is, it just won't move very well. There's an articulation issue with her legs. Again, so you will have some problems getting her into some particular poses with the lower body. Now, in the terms of her the attire, the rest of her attire here for the torso. I really do like this. I think this looks good. You see these like segmented parts here. I've noticed that on her attire. It's almost like armor, and I certainly like the way that looks. I've said this in many of my videos. I really like the gold that Jazwares uses. Very reflective. Certainly appreciate that. Obviously, you get articulation here right below the breastbone, and that's good. You get some articulation in the lower torso. I don't know if mine's kind of tight or what, but again, you do get this good like ab crunching motion, or at least decent ab crunching motion. She doesn't go back as much. But as far as the torso goes, and again, you know, she is, you know, a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker in the torso than a lot of the other female wrestlers. So they certainly had a job to do here to make this look accurate. And I think they did a good job of replicating not only her torso, but the ring attire that goes over it. Here's a shot of the back here. And you even see, like, I guess that's the zipper of, you know, whatever you want to call this that she wears. Yeah, so you even get that little detail there. So the whole thing, I think, looks really good. So let's have a look at the arms here. I think they're very well done. You see the deco here for the tattooing. I think that replicates that well. I'm going to assume that that's accurate. I've never looked closely at her tattoos. You get the double jointed elbows. That's always welcome. These gauntlets that she wears, you can see the molding on those. That's really well done. She has these like gripping hands. Now, I think this figure could have used an alternate set of hands, like a chopping hand or a fist. That would have been really welcome, I think. You do get great articulation with the arms, though. You can see that here. And you even get this like gold band that she puts around her arm. So really good articulation on the arms. I don't think that you'll have anything to complain about there. So I think Jazwares did a really magnificent job. Now this head sculpt is certainly a mixed bag. I like the likeness. I think they did very well on that. I like the lips. You know, those look really good. The expression, the eyes, you know, this kind of screaming head sculpt I think is very indicative of Nyla Rose. I like the headband here. The hair looks really good. It looks exactly like, you know, I think of her hair when I think about her matches in AEW. So in terms of just aesthetics, I think it looks really good. However, you know, in my Hikaru Shida video, I talked about how pliable the hair was, how easy it made to turn the Hikaru Shida head on that figure. This one is the opposite. I tried to turn her head here and just instantly it popped off. Now, it's not broken. It can be easily put back on. That's not a problem. But I wouldn't want to do that a lot. If I owned this figure, you know, for a long period of time, and again, you'll hear me say in a lot of my videos that I don't keep all the figures that I review. I trade them, resell them, give them as gifts, things like that. But if you owned this figure, I wouldn't want to turn its head very often because you may eventually break that joint. You certainly wouldn't want to do this because overall, this is a really good-looking figure. And with the articulation that is present, here are some of the poses that you can get this figure into. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. Remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, where we not only cover the DC and Marvel universes, but we also cover the wild world of professional wrestling. And I'll be back to the internet with more wrestling-related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.